The soldier pulled harder and began walking away with Bilal. The mother stood frozen, watching. The soldier thrust a mine in Bilal's hands and pushed him towards the house. The gun battle was still going on. And then Shamima said to me, "Something seized my heart as I saw Bilal's hands shivering as he held the landmine. His legs were giving away and he was falling to the ground." Shamima lunged ahead and threw herself on her son. She took the mine from his hands and held him in his arms. 3 soldiers and an officer circled them, asking her to leave her son. She told the officer to leave her son and let her take the mine into the house. I held on to the mine and asked the officer to blow me up. He remained silent. She shouted again. Then he ordered the soldiers to let us go. I held Bilal. As we walked away, I saw them push an old man towards the house with the mine in his hands. I mean, a couple of years back, I went back to her. I mean, her husband still sells peanuts at a bus stop in Anantnag. They're still waiting for justice. This meeting happened in 2005. It's been 8 years, and the incident had happened in 2001. There are numerous stories like that, and this is not very different from the experiences of people in Manipur or elsewhere in the subcontinent. And after the process of, I was working on this book, I finished it, it got published. I told this story several times, and then even more darker, even more brutal exercises of power would just stare you in your face. Every 2 months, you can go somewhere and write a story like this. I mean, it's strange, but it's true, and I think that is the worst, that is the only comment I really have to make. I think there is this intense feeling of repeating the same stories over and over again, and I think till these laws change, we'll continue repeating them. That might be the only way, and one hopes that will make a difference. I will just read a very short section now. Sorry, I've been told to look at the mic properly. One of the accompanying factors of the whole rubric of militarization, it wasn't just, under Armed Forces Special Powers Act, the overarching blanket. I mean, what also accompanied the killings, especially in the context of Kashmir, was a very widespread phenomenon of torture, and I think we should talk about that too. That's a process that does not go away. That's a process that has not stopped in a place like Kashmir, where it was rampant in the 90s, but it still continues in the police stations. We saw that in the aftermath of 2010 protests, and these are stories that simply do not stop. So, I mean, there's a small section I'll read about. There was an infamous torture center in Srinagar known as Papa 2, and a man who came out of there. So I met this man in Srinagar, and his name is Shafi. When I asked him after his arrest how he was moved to what happened, and then he tells me the story of this journey of what happens once a person is picked up in a place like Kashmir or Manipur, and what follows. They kept me in a local BSF camp for a week before shifting me to Papa 2. At the BSF camp, he was interrogated, beaten with fists, feet, batons, guns. They wanted information, they wanted weapons. Shafi was moved to Papa too. I asked him, what was it like? It was hell, he said, fumbling to find a cigarette burning on an ashtray. He was in Papa too. He was thrown into a room crowded with 20 men. The floor was bare, smears of blood blemished the whitewashed walls. Every man had a coarse black blanket for bedding. The blankets were full of lice. We called them lice blankets, Shafi said. He laughed. A corner of their room was their toilet. They were given polythene bags to relieve themselves. Then they threw the bags into a dustbin in the room. Every time a man had to go to the bathroom, two others held the blankets like a curtain to give him some privacy. Others stared at the floor. Shafi and his fellow prisoners slept laid out like rows of corpses. Throughout the night, people woke up shouting, cursing the lice, trying to sleep again, only to be woken by the next man battling the vermin. Some managed to sleep, though the lights were never switched off. During the interrogation, I was made to stare at very bright bulbs. Even in our room, the light burned my eyes. I craved darkness. And then darkness came. Shafi began losing his eyesight. He can barely see now. Thank you. I really don't know. There's nothing to add.
We talk so much about Imphal. And after 12 years, I get to stay in Imphal for like 6 months straight. And in that 6 months, I have been beaten up twice by Manipur police for no reason. And then on a very optimistic note, my friends have told me that I am now a real Manipuri. And some people say that, no, you are not yet Manipuri. Assam Rifle has to beat you up. You know, that's how you baptize, you know. And this is a song about how tired one can be about a place like Manipur. I mean, it's amazing. We have an Assam Rifle camp inside the university, and no one says anything about it. I mean, can you imagine GNU having a Sikh regiment or... Can you please, is there any way you can increase my guitar? What kind of hometown is it? I need permission to go around. What kind of university is this? They got an army camp inside the campus, and no one says anything about it. And the professors, they are busy making friends with the army for the free alcohol. They all gonna die alcoholic just like me, but I buy my own drinks every night. I'm bored of my hometown, can I chance it with Mozambique? I'm bored of my country, can I chance it with Ethiopia? I wanna go to Moscow, standing next to Mayakovsky statue. I wanna read his poem, drinking lots of vodka. I wanna go to Havana. I wanna be a sugarcane farmer. My life here needs some sweetness. My life here is so fucked up. Even if I don't like Fidel Castro for deporting Ginsburg in 1965. I wanna go to China with my love. We gonna make so much of love and sail across the world. saying they're made in China. I'll never forgive this country for what they have done to MF Hussain. The last line was an addition. India, have you ever crawled down enough to smell the soil of Kashmir? India, have you ever heard of a lady named Sharmila? India, can you explain to me what happened in the land of Gandhi in Gujarat? India, can you explain to me what the charge against Dr. Vinaya said? India, I see blood in your hands. India, I see blood on your flag. India, I see blood in your hands. India, I see blood on your flag. India, are you waiting for the stone builders to become suicide bombers? India, why are your farmers so fucking suicidal? India, why did you let Narendra Modi walk free, preaching genocide? India, what have you done to the villagers of Kasawajuru? India, why the poet in South and mourning for the Tamils that have been killed in Sri Lanka? India, I see blood in your hands. India, I see